There's nothing worse than completing a job and having that customer not pay you. And today I want to talk about the biggest red flags that I've encountered with these types of customers and how you could possibly prevent from being a victim to them. So some of these feel very obvious, but some of them are kind of subtle, so they're kind of hard to pick up on. But the biggest one that I'm gonna talk about is them not trying to sign a contract, and they'll, especially if they're like another general contractor, they'll say, hey man, like, how am I supposed to trust you? How am I supposed to give you more work if you expect me to sign every single document, every single contract, every single project, and the thing is, that's a red flag. And I'll tell you why. Because somewhere down the line, they plan on not upholding to that contract. So that's one of the biggest reasons why they wouldn't want to sign it. Because in all honesty, that contract protects the customer more than you. And let me explain why that is. Because let's just say you guys agreed to TAN's concrete. You're going to do a concrete pad and you say, hey, it's going to be TAN. But because for some odd reason, the concrete didn't show up TAN, or you didn't add the fillers, I don't know, and it ends up being gray. Well, I mean, it protects them because they have leverage against you, so that's how I explain it to the customer. I'm like, hey man, this is for your protection. This is so that way, God forbid, something happens to me and I'm not able to finish your job, then you could go ahead and go to my insurance and collect retributions for it. It lets them know, like, hey, I'm not just trying to scam you guys. Like, he was supposed to do this, and it's either they'll get someone else to finish it or they'll pay you out for it. So yeah, when people don't want to sign contracts, it's like the biggest red flag for me. Another thing too is especially if you have a lawn care service or you do any type of reoccurring service, is people don't want to put a credit card on file. They say, hey man, I've had fraud before, I had this, I've had that. And I understand. I completely understand. But what I tell them, I'm like, hey, look, we have a third party that does the billing. Like, we don't, there's nothing we do that, like that. We can't just go in there and take people's money, So that's how we sell it too. We let them know, like, hey, we're not in control of this. Like, and the thing is, if we're to do that, that's fraud. I could go to jail for that. Like, why would I want to do that over what, a couple $100? Like, nah, it's not worth it. So, I let them know that they're very secure, and just let them know, like, hey man, we have over 300 customers who use these services. Not one has had any issues, and but yeah, you'll get some people like, no, I'm old school, man, I pay with check. And I tell them, okay, we do accept payment with check, but it's going to be through a mobile portal, and I mean, customers that don't want to pay, they'll find each and every single way to try to get out of something, so be very skeptical if you get a lot of pushback. So another red flag that I get is they minimize what you're doing. They minimize it so that way they try to commoditize you, such as, oh, come on, bro, look, I could do it myself. It's just I don't have the time. Hey man, it's just paint. Like, come on, bro, like, you're literally just painting, 2 walls. Like, you're painting a bedroom. Come on, how hard can it be? They minimize you so that way they try to say, hey, well, I could do it, so why is it that much? And my counter to that is like, hey man, look, I understand you could do it. This isn't hard to do. But the thing is, in order for you to do this, do this little concrete pad, you're going to either have to go out, rent a truck if you don't have a truck, get the materials. And on top of that, you could get the same materials, but if you miss the actual formula that it takes to make this, then it's going to be wrong. It's like, it's like if a chef prepares an omelet and you get the same ingredients and you expect it to come out the same. Like, no, obviously the chef knows how to make that omelet fucking perfect. And you could have the same ingredients, but your omelet might be shit, you know, might be burnt, might taste like crap, might not be seasoned well. You kind of get the point, you know. So when they try to minimize you to just, you know, something minimal, then realize like, hey, yeah, they're trying to screw me over. And again, these are not definitive, but these have been the common denominators from the people that have not paid me. And I'll be honest, this year so far, I mean, I've got like over $37,000 of money that people didn't pay. So it adds up, you know. At the end of the year, I mean, 37,000, that's enough for maybe a couple used trucks and some more equipment, you know. And so yeah, it definitely adds up, and that's why I'm making this video, because some people don't know, you know. And another red flag is when they, especially when they offer you more work, when they say, hey man, look, as soon as we get this done, we'll go ahead and we'll start the next project, and we'll start the next house, and we'll do this and we'll do that. And that usually is more of an investor that will do that. And what I tell them, I'm like, hey man, look, I appreciate you, you know, your consideration, but I mean, the only discount you're going to get is going to be the fact that we're able to do this efficiently. Like, we can't give a discount. And they say, yeah, well, so-and-so down the street, you know, he was going to do it for $5,000 cheaper. Well, I tell them this. I'm like, you know what? I'm not here to, I don't know what your budget is. At the end of the day, you're the final decision. But in my past experience, there's no way they could do that for $5,000 cheaper, because material is this much, this is this much, this is this much, and they probably don't have insurance, they probably don't have workers' comp, they probably don't have anything, and they're probably just trying to, you know, swindle you. And it happens a lot. It really does. I mean, you get people who say they know how to do something and they end up not doing it. So be very skeptical when they try to put you in this small little box, like, hey, anyone can do that. Yeah, anyone can, but they're not. So another red flag is that they start hovering over you. They start asking you like, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, well, how much was that? Oh, do you have a receipt for this, for that? And that lets me know right out the back that they're trying to make sure they don't trust you. And they don't trust the fact that they think that they overpaid, or that they're looking for a opt out. They're looking to get out of a deal, and that way they could be like, hey, you know what? Look, you screwed me over. You said this was this much, and you're charging me that much, you know? And it's just, it sucks, man. It really does suck. Because sometimes, again, you have those customers that, I mean, and we don't know what the customer, we're all customers. We don't know what that customer has, you know, like some person that might be getting that slab of concrete done, they probably had to save 2 years for that slab of concrete, you know, and someone might have saved just two weeks. We don't know. So you always have to try to give you the best job possible that you can. And yeah, like I hear horror stories about contractors who don't finish work too. Oh, and that leads me to the next red flag is when they say that someone started it, but they weren't able to finish. That is like a really red flag, a really big red flag too, because no contractor is just going to walk out and leave unless they're not getting paid, you know? And it's happened to me. I mean, we were at this project and we were putting out in all these plants, and the customer was like, oh yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll write you a check on Friday. Come Friday, you know, like no one was home. Like it was dead. We show up Saturday. We call them. Hey, yeah, we were here to pick up the check. oh, you know what, yeah, I'm sorry, like something came up, family emergency. We'll be there Monday, I promise. Sure enough, and it ended up being that we just had to go back and pull those plants out, because I was like, dude, I'm not just gonna give you work for free. Like that, it's not gonna happen. So when we did that, then they called us back and like, oh, well, we're not gonna pay you. Why'd you guys pull out the plants? We were gonna pay you and this and that, the whole spiel. Like, and so we told them, I'm like, nah, dude, like, first of all, you said this and you said Friday, and then you said Saturday, and then you said Monday, and we gave you more than enough time, and some people might say that's petty, but hey, man, like sometimes you gotta act like that with people, just because, the fact that they get away with it and no one does anything lets them think that they could do that to everyone. And you know what? No, we gotta hold people accountable as we hold ourselves accountable sometimes too. So, yeah, man. If you encounter any of these red flags, just be cautious. Again, they're not definite, but for the most part, in my experience, dealing with customers that way has definitely it's been in the negative.